Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. There's big news regarding a Celtic defender this morning that's going to be in talks with Celtic to get a brand new contract. But it is not with a Celtic player that is out of contract and is valued currently at £7.7 million by the club. Yes, Greg Taylor is valued at £7 million by the club, but he runs out of contract on the 30th of June 2025. He's entered the last year of his contract. Now, remember, there was a player that entered the last year of his contract last year, and he was sold at the Christmas window, and we got £3 million for him. And that was the one and only David Turnbull. And do we think that Celtic are going to do the same with Greg Taylor? Well, as it stands just now, no one really has an idea apart from Greg Taylor and Celtic, because there's not been a single bit of information leaked. Greg Taylor was asked about it during the summer, about extending his contract at Celtic, and he said, I'm sure that talks will take place, but they haven't as yet. Now, the defender that Celtic want to open talks with is the one and only Alistair Johnston. Now, whilst Alistair Johnston is in line for an improved contract, surely Greg Taylor deserves the same at Celtic. When you look at it, when Alistair Johnston came into Celtic, he's been told most of the time that the Rangers are coming, and he's spent most of his time looking for them in the distance. They haven't come. He signed in 2023 under Ange Postecoglou, and he is a couple of seasons into his contract. He is a fantastic player. But Celtic want to put him up there with some of the highest paid stars at the club. So how do you feel about that this morning? Is Alistair Johnston worthy of a new contract? I think he is. He's obviously a player that we know that we can sell on for a massive, massive profit in the future, because let's face it, and there's another question that needs to be answered, and maybe in a poll tonight. Do you think that Alistair Johnston is better than Joseph Juranovic, who left Celtic to go to Union Berlin, who's actually now injured and he's unfortunately out until next year? It's funny how some Celtic players seem to leave and get really bad injuries, and I hope Joseph Juranovic he gets well soon. But anyway, get back to Greg Taylor and the one and only. It's a mystery. It is a mystery why Greg Taylor's contract hasn't been done and dusted by now. But it's fantastic news for Alistair Johnston. Taylor, over the last 3 seasons, Taylor as a player has done phenomenal at Celtic. Before Ange came into the club, a lot of people were saying, get Taylor out, he's not Celtic standard, and he's upped his game. Every time that a player comes in, he's upped his game. Alexandro Bernabeu was brought in from South America, from Argentina, and I thought it would have been a fantastic buy for Celtic. But that didn't turn out, and he's now back in South America on loan. Do Celtic think that Alex Valley might be a Celtic player permanently in the future? We don't know. Are they going to bring back an Argentinian and a Spanish player to fight it out for the positions and let Greg Taylor go for absolutely free? I don't think that they will allow Greg Taylor to walk away for nothing. If he's going to be sold, it will be at Christmas. But let's hope not, because he's been a fantastic servant to the club so far. And when you look at it, Greg Taylor's won 4 Scottish League titles. Yes, he's won 4 Scottish League titles. He's won 3 Scottish Cups, and he's won 2 League Cups with Celtic thus far, which is a fantastic little trophy haul. And the fact that Celtic do value him, it's such a high value. It's a strange one, but maybe the deal will get done and dusted, and there'll be nothing to talk about, nothing to see here, and just move on peacefully and quietly. Another player that plays at under 21 level is the under 21 captain, of course, and that is the one and only Paulo Bernardo. He scored another goal at international level again. The under 21s, but he took to Instagram and. Nice little picture of him smiling and after scoring that goal for his country, which can only be good for the player. And let's hope that even though he is the under-21 captain, let's hope that Celtic can keep him for as long as possible, because I think if you're under-21 captain for Portugal, there must be something special about you. Let's face it, because the Portuguese aren't too shabby at football. Even though Scotland beat Spain last season, Scotland couldn't beat anybody now if they tried. Let's not even talk about them. But I think that the fact that Paulo Bernardo is the under-21 captain, Portugal, yeah, let's just see how he goes, because I think he's going to be another player that's going to go for big, big money. Anyway, let's move on to some other Celtic news this morning. Now, before we talk about a situation with Celtic fans at the weekend, the meltdown still continues, even to this day, over at Ibrox. And Barry Ferguson says that it's killing him inside. Oh, we're so glad that the meltdown is still going on and they're still a little bit upset. He says it's killing him inside and he's just desperate for Rangers to get back playing after the Celtic demolition. He says it is unacceptable. He's still having a meltdown. It's going to be tough the way that Celtic have started. It has been all about Celtic with them, and they keep talking about us and they keep talking about that defeat. Celtic have looked really strong, says Barry Ferguson. The Rangers have had an average start, but after Clementine has been speaking to Rangers fans at a closed meeting, that all the information has been let out. He said that there's still trophies to be won, and even though that we're 5 points behind, and I'm just waiting on them shouting, "Can you see us coming?" No, we can't. As many times as you try, and as many times as you say it, we still can't see you fucking coming. Yeah. Anyway, the fact that they're still talking about us is absolutely brilliant, and they're hoping that Dundee United, and I'm hoping that Dundee United do one over them, because it'll keep Dundee United above them in the league. And just like I hope when we beat Hearts this weekend, it keeps them rooted to the bottom of the table, along with Killie. That's my two favourites to go down. Well, maybe not favourites, but that's my hopefuls to go down this season, because I can guarantee your bottom dollar that if those two were to go down, all of a sudden there would be a change in the format to the Scottish League. Watch this space, and there'd be an additional teams brought into the league. Strange one that if it happened, but just a little warning. Anyway, there was a situation with Celtic fans at the weekend. I know there's been a lot of anti-racist rallies going on in Scotland and the UK. And on Saturday, Celtic fans attempted to join an anti-racist demonstration in Glasgow, but they were prevented from doing so by Police Scotland. Celtic fans were detained and kettled for over 2 hours, despite the protest from the event's organisers and participants, members of the public, for them to be released. Thank you to the demonstrators and the organisers, the Green Brigade said, who acknowledged the Irish elephant in the room on Saturday and showed real working class solidarity to those supporting the detained by challenging Police Scotland. Now, you don't need to tell me about anti-Catholic and Catholic sentiments. I'd had enough of it when I had my own business back in Scotland. It does happen. To say that it doesn't happen, you need to go and put your head and take your head out of the sand. I've been to many dinner dances when I was called a Fenian just for buying. I even bought a Hibs ball once just to wind up the Sevconians in the room, and the abuse that I got going up to buy this at a charity dinner was unbelievable. The Green Brigade went on to say, given our history, Celtic fans will always challenge groups, institutions or agendas who seek to marginalise and oppress any community. Well, some have realised the far-right threat over the recent weeks. We remind you that the far-right in Scotland are on your streets every weekend, and it is Police Scotland. And the Green Brigade did put up a couple of video. Well, they put up a video, and it's not the first time that Celtic fans have been kettled in such a manner. But to do a publicly arranged organised demonstration against the far right, it's just... Anyway, that's enough of politics and demonstrations, because I'm not allowed to talk about that on this channel, even though it is in every part of day life. Anyway, Paulo Bernardo, do you think that he's going to be an absolute amazing player? Tell me how much you think he will be worth in the future. Is Greg Taylor up to the task of getting a new contract? Will Greg Taylor get a new contract? And how do you feel about the fact that the one and only little Canadian who still has 3 years left on his contract, and it is all about Celtic protecting their asset for this one. So he has 3 years left on his contract, and he's going to be given a new contract, an extended contract. Will it just be the year extension, or will he be given a 2-year extension to make him here for another 5 years? And that'll pull them in line with a lot of the Celtic players who have just been bought this summer, who were all given similar 4-5 year contracts. Anyway, tell me your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure that you join me tonight for the live, where we'll talk about Celtic Hearts this weekend. We'll do our team predictions, and we will also try and figure out what team the manager will play, because that's probably the hardest decision that the manager will have to make this weekend. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.